So what is it about the other side of innovation that is so darn hard? Well, it turns out you can capture that in just one sentence, and here it is. Innovation and ongoing operations are always and inevitably in conflict. Again, innovation and ongoing operations are always and inevitably in conflict. And in fact, managing innovation is very much an art of finding ways to navigate that conflict. What makes it truly difficult is that companies are not built for innovation. Quite to the contrary, they are built for ongoing operations. They are built to be what I call performance engines. Now, performance engines are good at serving today's customers. They are good at defeating today's rivals. They are good at being efficient and accountable. They are good at being on time, on budget, on spec, every single day, every week, every month, and every year. And all of this is good and powerful and just and right. And because we have succeeded as a profession at building performance engines, we've raised living standards around the world. Performance engines are good things. Okay? But I don't think it takes too much imagination to see that innovation and performance engines are in conflict with each other. What makes matters worse is what the performance engine drives for more than anything else is, of course, profits. And not 5 years from now, but this quarter. And that means that anything that doesn't pay off right away can be easily dismissed as a distraction. It gets worse still. If you want to see the conflict in its most fundamental form, you just need to think about the method of the performance engine, which is the same in every company and every industry. And that is to make every task, every process, every activity as repeatable and predictable as possible. As repeatable and as predictable as possible. Repeatability and predictability work. They are powerful. Think about it. When you can make your operations repeatable, people can specialize. You can organize an effort. Each person can have one small role. And specialization of labor has been recognized as a wonderful expedient to efficiency for hundreds of years. And when you can make your operations predictable, that means you can measure, you can hold people accountable, you can demand higher performance every day, every month, and every year. The problem is that the reality of every innovation initiative is exactly the opposite. Every innovation initiative is non-routine and uncertain. Now, these are fundamental incompatibilities. These strike right at the heart of how companies are designed, how managers are trained, even how accountants measure. So what are we going to do about this? How are we going to make innovation happen inside of established organizations? Well, it turns out that there are 3 and only 3 models that work. The first 2 are pretty widely practiced and pretty well understood by a lot of companies, but they have severe limits. Model 3, even the best companies in the world struggle with it. We're going to talk about Model 3 soon enough. For now, I want to describe Model 1 and Model 2 just to set some context. Model 1's pretty straightforward. I call it the innovation is everybody's job every day model. Okay? Everybody can be an innovator. And this works, and it can be powerful, but there is a limit. And that limit has to do with the fact that everybody already has a full-time job. Okay? Model 1 is a model in which you try and make innovation happen in these tiny little slivers of free time that exist around every organization. And that means only very small projects can move forward inside of Model 1. You can get a lot of continuous process improvement done that way. And of course, process improvement is absolutely critical if you're going to stay on top in your organization. But Model 1 is not a complete recipe for innovation. It is only a partial solution. That brings us to Model 2. Model 2 says, hey, you know, innovation can become pretty close to repeatable and predictable, like the performance engine. Why don't we just treat it that way? And some companies are very, very good at this. I like to think about Hasbro, the toy and game company that brings out literally thousands of new products each year. You know, any company that does something thousands of times per year has got a process for it, and they do. They have scripted every step in the process, and they try and make it as routine and as efficient as possible. Okay? And that works, and it can be very powerful, but it requires that you stick to doing things that feel a lot like building this year's version of last year's product. If you want to do anything more aggressive, anything more transformative than just that, then Model 2 falls short. It is a powerful model, it's an important model, but again, it's not enough.